Pete, do you want to kick us off the sky?
Afternoon, Scott. You well?
Hey, Pete. All good, mate. All good.
Enjoying the weather?
Yeah, the weather's just turned a little bit rainy, isn't it? So
How is everybody? Because I know it's a quick turnaround, obviously, after the game last night off to Newcastle. But how is everybody physically at the moment?
physically okay. I'm a little bit tired, obviously, with the game demand of what we are. I'm hugely disappointed today coming in, of course, because obviously didn't get a result last night, and fundamentally that's what we do it for. So a lot of disappointment and there's some frustration, but recovery day today, and we'll get back on the horse tomorrow and prepare for another big game at the weekend.
And how are you? Because last night I thought you sounded frustrated, disappointed, as inevitably after a result like that. How do you pick yourself up?
Just reboot. You know, always after a game, your emotions are really high. We all sit in front of you guys. You have to analyse and work out how you see certain things. And at that moment, there's probably certainly last night there was a frustration there and a disappointment. And back on it today, back into work, and we go again. And that's what we do, and that's what the players do as well. So I'm all good.
You have to change it, don't you? That's the brutal
Sure.
fact of the matter. It's got to change. You've got to start scoring goals. You've got to start winning games. How do you do that with these players? How do you turn the corner?
We keep working and working and working, and that's solely it. We stay stable beyond anything, and we just fall back on training pitch and working tirelessly. And of course, we're going through a little bit of a bump here, and we're taking some jabs. But we always fall back on that hard work, certainly on the training ground. And hopefully we get something that, like I've said, at certain moments last night, for instance, it's the fine margins, and it didn't go our way. We lost the game of football. We had some problems here last year as well, where we had them and we reverted back to exactly what I'm speaking about. And that's going to be exactly it now, really.
And it must be difficult in a game like last night, because so often it's the final ball, it's the finish that isn't just there. You can't really replicate that on the training pitch, can you? It's got to be down to your players to seize the moment.
Well, of course, you can, in them final bits, you're looking for a certain little bit of quality, and we have that, whether that's confidence at this present moment in time. Things are a little bit rushed. Like I said last night, and I said it after the game, I'm weak in my position when I say it, and I reiterate that because we didn't win the game, but playing against a very, very good side, and I thought we had a real dominance about us. I thought we had a real impetus about us, and we just fell short in our moments, really. And they score a goal, and at that moment it was a bit of a uphill battle for us. But yeah, we'll keep going.
How much encouragement are you getting from the chairman? Because after 5 defeats on the bounce, he's obviously going to be concerned.
Well, there's no concerns at the moment. I was speaking to Alan today, really. So my relationship with Alan's rock solid, really. And I have a real open, we have an honest and a realistic and relationship, really. So regarding my position in that sense, that I have absolutely no worries whatsoever, and that makes my job easier for sure. That keeps my focus where it needs to be. So yeah, regarding Alan, like I said, that's been a consistent since I've been here, and it remains a consistent now.
And I know we only talked a couple of weeks ago about January, but does that conversation with Alan, does that involve maybe we need to strengthen or we're going to be in trouble?
Well, I think it probably will do, and I think that would have been the case either way. And of course, at this present time, we're going through a bit of a tough spell. But for sure, January comes around, and it would have been conversations we'll be having with everyone in their departments in terms of where maybe we need to strengthen. 3 players going away on AFCON as well, which obviously dilutes the squad a little bit. So we'll have them conversations for sure.
And off to Newcastle this weekend, a club that you know very well, of course, being the captain up there. You know you're going to get a tough afternoon, don't you? That goes without saying.
Of course, tough game, certainly away from home. Against a very, very good side. Eddie's done a fantastic job there. So, as always, we bounce back now. We're going into it. We try and put our best foot forward in this situation. But like you said, we're playing against a very good side. But hopefully we can cause them problems as well.
Other players, have you got to be careful with the players mentally? Is there maybe a fragility having lost 5 underbounds, going to a place like Newcastle? You can't afford to cave in if you go behind a couple.
Well, I think keeping a focus mentally on the players was always going to be the main focus at times this year for me. So that's going to be no different. These players live in a world now where there is an extreme amount of noise, and that noise goes up tenfold. And there's not a lot of context in it, and so for sure there's going to be, my job is going to keep things very stable here, give the players that belief, for sure, and that's going to be evident.
And when you go back to an old club, you have to enjoy it, don't you?
Yeah, we try, mate. We try. It's a good time up there. It was a good couple of years for me, so I'm looking forward to going back up there.
Thanks for your time. Good
Cheers,
luck.
mate.
Hi, Scott. Good afternoon. When the team is going through a difficult period, like now with 5 defeats in a row, what's the biggest challenge for you and for the team as a collective?
I think staying stable is the biggest key. And why I say that is because, like I said, there's these young generation, these young boys are in a world where there's always a lot of noise. So, and when you're not winning football matches, we've not won in 5 games. We've come up against some tough opposition. Of course we have. I understand that, but we need to stay very, very stable in this moment.
We saw Leeds beating Chelsea last night. Sunderland get a good result at Anfield. It does feel like the promoted side brings something different this season.
Well, you wouldn't say no one was saying that about Leeds before last night. So this is how quickly things change. Before last night, people were looking at Leeds' fixtures. Fair play, Leeds have got an absolute fantastic result. This game changes so quick, and one week is people are at whatever stages they are, the next within a game of football of 90 minutes, the narrative changes very, very quickly. If we would have defined margins last night, we're sitting here beating Palace, and the story would be Palace are a great side. They won the FA Cup last year, which they are, by the way, and you've gone and beat them at home, and that pitch has changed so quickly. So, yeah.
As a former Newcastle midfielder in the past, can I ask you about their middle of the park, Tonali, Bruno Guimaraes, Joelinton? How difficult it is to compete with them physically, with their presence, what they offer? Good,
yeah, very, very good midfielders, probably right up there in terms of the 3 you mentioned in the whole of the division, really. So complement each other very, very well, physical, technically as well. So yeah, we'll embrace that for sure, and we'll embrace that challenge of what certainly our boys are coming up against.
And what's the biggest challenge of facing at the house side with his experience?
Well, I think the intensity of what the stadium brings, the intensity of what they play at in terms of how they play, man v man orientated at times, and the intensity, like I said, of the stadium and Eddie's team. So we need to be aware of that for sure, and have to try and take that into consideration how we go about and manage the game in certain moments up there. Cheers.
Just going back, Scott, to that sense of, I know you use the word calmness quite a lot, don't you? Do you feel that coming from the top of the club right the way down? And if you do feel that, how important is that?
Well, I definitely feel that, Scott, for sure. Yeah, I have absolutely not one doubt. Look, I'm very calm, and that's just my manner. I'm quite calm, I'm quite rational, I drive, I'm a fighter, I get all that, and at times there's a real raw emotion in me. But there is a real calmness about us, and I sense that around the whole football club. Now, the biggest job for me is in terms of the players and keeping them in that calm state, really. And obviously the fans as well. And like I said the other day, I sit here in front of you guys for 15, 20 minutes once a week. So, but yeah, I generally feel a real calmness. And to answer your question in terms of how crucial that is for me, well, for sure that is that support mechanism that at certain moments us as human beings need to bring the best out of ourselves and the best qualities is massively important, and I feel every single bit of that.
I know you can do nothing about games that have gone by in the past, but like United away, Liverpool at home, those types of games. Do you feel like you are a result away from turning this around, a potential result against a team that perhaps you're not expected to get a result?
Yeah, I really do, Scott. That's exactly how I feel. We've been really close, and again, like, we've been nearly, haven't we? You know, you even look at Brentford. You get back in the game at 1-1. There's 10 minutes on the clock, and there's just been some nearly moments, and for sure, 100% is something we need to fix up on, and we need to be realistic. We're going to have to deal with that situation which we faced a few times this year. But I do feel that. I feel that we've been hugely competitive in games. Games have not gone away from us. We're in games, consistently in games, and certain moments of quality that we faced, we've been punished, which can happen, but games have never really seemed to run away from us, and we've been really competitive and stayed in them games. We need a result, for sure. We need a result. We need to keep continuing the good things that we have here as well, that will enable us to get that result, really.
I was looking back, I remember a season from maybe 7 or 8 years ago when Sean was here, and Burnley lost on Boxing Day at home to Everton. They had 12 points at that part of the season, and they stayed up quite comfortably. It's amazing what can be done when from an almost impossible position.
Yeah, and you see that positivity. That's exactly it. That is exactly it. And 12 points in Boxing Day, and they stay up and they go on. Where I don't know how many games are left? 26 games or whatever there is left. Like, we'll judge it at the end. I constantly said it. We'll judge it at the end. And how things can quickly change. Now, they only change with a stableness, a fight, a desire, a passion, and of course a quality about us. But that constant belief is there. That'll always be there with me. And that's exactly what we want to try and install in this group.
Just a final one for me. You mentioned the 3 lads going away with Africa Cup of Nations. That's after this weekend, I think, isn't it?
I think it's come up now that I think they leave after the Fulham game.
Okay. Right.
So we've got a couple of extra games with them boys.
Nice. But you did get Ekdal back in your side last night. Just some thoughts on his return.
I thought he done really well. Scott, I was really pleased for Ekdal. Obviously came out the side. Has not been involved a little bit, and certainly the harshness in terms of him being from starting and not even to be in the squad, and to come back into the frame last night. I thought he had a very strong performance, really. So I was really pleased for him.